from 3 different places. So today we're going to talk about introduction to business planning. And throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You don't have to wait until the end. Let's start. So today we're going to be talking about understanding the concepts and value of business planning. And we're going to learn about the tools and models that can help your business during the planning process. We're going to identify the essential elements of a business plan and focus on them based on your audience and your business model. And we're going to utilize SBA resource partners. I'm going to show you all the resource partners we have and give you some tools. And our agenda. Why are we planning? Right? When? And what are the contents are going to be? What are the tools we're going to be using? What are the pitfalls that we need to avoid? I'm sure you've heard of this before. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So we don't want to do that. And another one that I like to talk about is goals without a plan is only a dream, right? And we gotta wake up, right? In preparing for a battle, I have always found that plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. Of course, being in the military, you know this is the best. So that's why we plan. Why is it important? It's a roadmap, right? We do need to have a roadmap. We don't want to do it willy-nilly. It tells us how to do things, when to do things, and with what resources. Analysis is very important. We gotta make sure to identify critical areas before we invest our time, money, our resources, our energy, right? And decision making. It's gonna help us with our decision making. The more data we have, better decisions we can make. Communication. Of course, we're gonna need money, right? So whenever you're going to ask for money, if you don't have a plan of how you will bring the money back, they're not gonna want to give you money, right? So when you're saying, hey, I want $100,000 to start my business, they're gonna say, okay, but how are you gonna pay it back? So in order to tell them, this is how I'm gonna market, this is how I'm gonna sell my stuff, this is how I'm gonna get clients, and if you have a good, robust plan of that, then they'll be like, oh, okay, this person does know what they're doing, then I can give them money. But if you say, well, I don't know, I need money for the marketing, that's why I'm coming to you, then they won't give you the money, right? So when do we do it? When do we plan? When do we need a business plan? We need the business plan before we start spending the money, right? So this is an ongoing process. It's not a one-time event. Just because we made the business plan now doesn't mean that it's gonna be the plan forever. We will go back, revise it, make changes. This is gonna be just the initial plan, and things are gonna change. So it all depends on what you're doing, your goals, and what your needs are. Sometimes maybe you're gonna go into the second month of it, right? And you'll see, oh, we gotta tweak some things around. And there are different phases to your business. Ideation, validation, right? Different stages, growth, expansion, right? Scale, exit. You'll need a different plan at each stage. And depending on how the previous stage went, you may need to tweak the plan for later. Priorities. What are the priorities? Value proposition. What type of values are you bringing to your clients? Your customers are important. Who is your target audience? Who do you want to serve? And we want to narrow this down, which we're going to talk about is your business and economic models, the identification and mitigation of risks, SWOT analysis can help you think them through. So we got to think about the risks, right? What can we expect that's going to happen along the way? Anticipate those and think about how we can tackle those, right? Value proposition, we said. This is a statement that's going to summarize how your product or service will be of value to your customers. How it's going to better solve their problem than other similar offerings. The most important thing you need to identify in your business is what problem are you solving for who? And what is your differentiation doing that? So FedEx, it says when it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight. That's their value proposition. What does it tell you? That they can fast deliver overnight. Now, does that mean that that's the only thing they do? Do they only do overnight delivery just fast? No, they do all the other things too. But this is how they differentiate themselves, right? Your customers, from your market research. You have to spend time on market research. I can't say this enough. This is something overlooked a lot when you're starting a business. A lot of new entrepreneurs, they don't spend enough time on market research, and this is somewhere you need to spend time on. Identifying your target markets. Include what you know about your customers. When I say this, consumer demographics, geography, lifestyle, shopping habits, commercial or wholesale, industry compatibility, government need. So, target audience, right? We want to make sure we are narrowing this down and creating ideal client profiles. What does this mean? So a lot of times, when we ask business owners, new business owners, who is your target audience? We hear, oh, I help small businesses. Or we hear, I help females in between 25 to 55 years old. It's too wide, right? Females in between 25 to 55 years old is almost 1/3 of the country. In those females 25 to 55, there are so many different people. There's Jenny, that is 25 years old, just graduated, UNLV, living in Las Vegas, single, no kids, who likes rock music, right? And then there's Mary, 55 years old, lives in Alabama, housewives, taking care of her grandchildren. So much different style, right? Different language, different interests, different things that they do. So how you speak to them are completely different. How you market them, your products or services, are completely different. So you need to create different profiles and you need to narrow down your audience. Or when it comes to businesses, every business pain points are going to be different. You can't just say, I help small businesses. Construction company is going to be different than a law firm, right? Helping a construction company is going to be different. Their problems are different than a law firm. So think of all of those things. Don't just think of age demographics or location demographics. Think of buying habits, lifestyle, problems, goals, mistakes, objections that they may have, right? All of those things, and make sure to have a list of those ideal client profile personas, basically. Quantify. Current market, how many are there? growth. How many will be there? Economic reliability of your markets. How many have the incentive? How many ability to give you their money? So, when you're selecting your ideal client, your target audience, think of it. Are they gonna have the money to give you? Or are you gonna need to change your target audience? Or maybe, are you gonna need to find some other organization to get you the money for that target audience? And when I say this, here is an example. Sometimes I hear business owners saying, oh, I want to help unsupported single moms. Okay, will they have the money to give you? Or will you need some organizations to get you the money so you can help them, right? We gotta think all of these things. Or veterans, right? Do you wanna help veterans? Maybe you're gonna go through some organizations that help veterans to give you the money. Now you have two different target audiences. That's the veterans and the organizations that help veterans.
And real quick.
Sure.
Real quick, did some ladies' families in the men's restroom on the first floor,